Hi everyone, I hope that you are well. Happy Tuesday and second day of our reading session with Guardians of the Planet. I know that's back to front for you, but it does say Guardians of the Planet, trust me. So we are looking at, it's our second session reading the book, but it's actually of the first chapter, which is called Home Hero. So what I've done is I've managed to take pictures of all of the pages of this chapter. So it's quite a long one, this chapter, and I'm going to read through it, and I will leave some time and some gaps for you to have a chat with someone at home about it or someone in school about it, because people that are learning from home and at school will be getting this video as well. Okay. So we can start off, because I absolutely love the beginning of this book, and it did give us an outline, didn't it? I'm just going to have a look at there. It's sort of all of those circles, if you remember, that we looked at. That was basically everything that the book is going to talk about. And our first chapter is Home Hero, and it talks about the waste that humans create, basically, and what we can do about it. So let's have a look. There's no place like home, but it's also one of the main places where stuff is wasted. This makes your home the perfect place to get stuck in and begin your guardian training. Waste around the world. People living in wealthy, I'm just going to move that screen actually, I'll make it smaller because you can't see that. Apologies. Okay, we'll go again. Okay, we'll start again after that glitch. Anyway, waste around the world. People living in wealthy developed nations consume and throw away an awful lot. Each person in the US, for example, chucks out an average of 2 kilograms of rubbish per day. That means a family of 5 throw 3.6 tons of rubbish out a year. People in other parts of the world waste less. In Colombia, for example, the figure is 950 grams per day, while in Ghana, it's just 90 grams. So that's per day, 90 grams per day. We are throwing away 2 kilograms per day, which is absolutely massive when you add it up. What a waste. Waste is a really good name for rubbish, as it represents the waste of resources that were originally used to make the objects. Waste also uses resources when it's disposed of, including thousands of rubbish trucks worldwide. Combined, they burn millions of litres of polluting fuels each year. So I had a thought before when I looked at this book, and I thought, why is it that in some countries they waste less than us? Now, if you look at it, when I went to, for example, Tesco, and I bought my apples in my food shop, not only did I buy the apples, within the apples, there was a plastic carton that held the apples in so they didn't bruise, and then a plastic covering, and then a cardboard label around it. And I looked at it and I thought, for those apples, did I need all of that packaging? And what's going to happen? Because after I eat that apple, that's fine, it's in my tummy, or then it goes in the food bin, which is fine, because that then eventually will rot and then turn into soil eventually. But what would happen to that plastic packaging? Can that be recycled? No, so I'm going to put it in its ordinary bin. Can the cardboard be recycled? Some of it can, some of it can't. Can the plastic Tupperware be recycled? No. So for one of those apples, I've got a lot of rubbish. And I was trying to think, well, actually, I can understand why people throw away so much, because I try not to, but I can see how easily it's done. So maybe have a think about you now. What food have you got in the house and what drinks have you got in the house that possibly would create rubbish that cannot be recycled? So have a think. Okay, so maybe now you've had a think, what could you do about it to stop buying that packaging? I thought maybe I could just buy the apples separately and put them in a recyclable bag that I could have. Yes, it might bruise more, but I suppose it's less recycling, less plastic. So by 2025, the World Bank estimates that humans will be producing 6 million tons of waste per day. clean this up, we'd need a line of rubbish trucks 5,000 kilometres in length. That is as long as the country of China is wide. So we need that many for the width of China. We need that many of our bin men and our trucks that collect the rubbish to get all of that rubbish that we'll have by 2023. And I don't think that could be done very easily at all. Where does it all go? Most waste is either burnt or buried. Burning occurs in machines called incinerators. It can reduce the space that waste takes up by 90%, so it gets rid of that waste. However, polluting gases, including sulfur dioxide and toxic chemicals, may enter the air. So what happens is, to get rid of that rubbish, it's not just laid there like the picture in the book. It will burn that rubbish, and then what happens to that rubbish? Because even though that disappears, where else does it go? Now, unfortunately, it doesn't finish there, because when it burns, it then releases poisonous gases into the air. And that, again, when we were talking about acid rain, it goes up in the air and then rains down poisonous rain. Could be that, or rain that damages our health eventually. And again, when we're looking at global warming that we've looked at before, that also doesn't help with that either. Okay, so we need to think of other ways that we can get rid of this rubbish. First of all, not creating it ourselves anyway. Thousands of tons of waste are illegally dumped. This can harm wildlife, and it costs a fortune to clean up. So you might see sometimes in streets or on the side of roads, people might have put sofas there, they might have put a couple of chairs. I've even seen fridges and microwaves that they just don't want. And because they're not being responsible, they don't want to put it to the tip or a proper bin, they just dump it on the side of the road, and it costs a lot of money to clean it up. Millions of tons of waste are buried in giant holes called landfills. There are 500,000 of these in Europe alone. Toxic chemicals in many landfills cause soil and water pollution. So again, it makes it they're poisonous, we can't drink it. Greenhouse gases such as methane are also released as the rubbish decays. So as the rubbish is dug underground, it then becomes poisonous itself and starts to release those gases that you had when you burnt the rubbish. So at the moment, we don't have a very good solution, do we? Okay. Trash talk. So it's quite interesting. It's time for Guardian action. Also, it looks like they're going to tell you to do something. Your first job as a home hero is to spread the word. If any of your family or friends don't think waste is that big of an issue, hit them with the following facts. Okay, let's have a look. Burying the problem. Pollution from landfills can travel long distances, affecting soil and poisoning rivers, streams, and underground water supplies. Flammable gases and chemicals also frequently catch light, starting landfill fires. There are more than 8,000 fires every year at landfill sites in the US. So not only is it dangerous for the environment, it can be incredibly dangerous for anyone that's living near the landfills if they set fire. So yeah, not a good way to dispose of waste, is it? Next one, wasting away. Rubbish doesn't necessarily decay quickly and easily. While paper towels may take just a month to biodegrade, leather can take 50 years. Aluminium cans, so the cans that you have for your Coke, they take 100 years or more. And plastic bottles, unfortunately, you saw me drinking out of a plastic bottle before, 400 to 500 years. So I think I need to stop that and start using my reusable water bottle. It's very naughty of me. Wow, I didn't know that with those facts. It's made me think twice about buying my bottles of water. So let's have a look on the next page. Life among rubbish. Rubbish dumps in poorer developing countries are growing and invading space taken up by local communities. Thousands of children live and play amongst broken glass, jagged metal, and toxic chemicals. Thousands more are forced to scour the rubbish dumps to find waste items to sell. Now, this is really sad because I saw this in a documentary, and it is those poor children that do live in really poor countries. What they try and do is make money from the rubbish. So their job is to dig through those landfills, which are extremely dangerous, not only because of the things that we've been talking about, the fires, the smells, but also the objects that are in there are very sharp. If you've got glass in there, you've got different bits of plastic and cans. And these children, probably as young as 5, so a lot younger than a lot of you, they would have to go into these rubbish tips, which are massive, and dig out any bits of rubbish that they think they can sell. And it is so dangerous, really, really dangerous. The cost of waste. By 2025, the cost of dealing with rising waste around the world is expected to reach 375,000 million each year. That's money that could be spent building hundreds of hospitals or thousands of schools. A load of rubbish. In 2016, humans produced 5.5 million tonnes of solid waste per day. If nothing changes, this figure is expected to be more than double to 12 million tonnes of waste by 2100. My gosh. Okay. So what I'm going to do is there are a couple of other pages, but I think I might leave it there for this reading session because there's a lot there. These past 2 pages have filled us with lots and lots of facts that are actually a bit scary, a bit sad as well, about the effects of us not recycling and us not using waste correctly and maybe buying things that we don't need to, that has unnecessary waste with them. So what I'd like you to do is just talk to someone at home or talk to someone in your classroom or have a think yourself. What facts have you come away with from these 2 pages that will really affect the way that you use different things and the way that you think about plastics and different types of materials? Right, okay, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting you mid-thought or mid-conversation, so if you are the teachers, you can just stop me or pause me. And if you are at home, you can do the same as well. But what I want to say is the tomorrow's session for the book, we are going to look at avoid, reuse and recycle, so what we can do with materials, then repair and repurpose, so how we can then recycle them for different reasons, and then second hand and swaps. Okay, so we're going to look at, now we've looked at the problem, we'll end up looking at how we solve that problem tomorrow. Okay, so it was lovely to see you all again, even though I've not really seen you, you've just seen me. I hope that you're all keeping safe. You are doing your home learning. I know that teachers have gone to a lot of effort to put all of those resources together. And you are also enjoying your time with family. And most importantly, you are keeping safe. And I will see you at the same time tomorrow. Thank you very much, everyone.